Hello everyone, welcome to the comic drawing live stream. It says that we're live, and I hope that that's true. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about after failure and unfinished business, which basically is a video that I thought about different ideas on how to take failure, because even if everyone tells you, hey, you'll grow a lot after failure and stuff, sometimes they don't say how. And, of course you'll figure it out, but I think there are some fun ideas that I have that I can share after failing. And so, also another disclaimer is that I'm very tipsy right now. I have been drinking wine because yesterday I went with my friends and we opened 2 bottles of wine. And then what happened? And then there was one whole bottle that we didn't drink that much. To be fair, most of the time I'm the one that drinks from that bottle. So they just gave it to me, and I was like, okay, I have to drink it today. I have no other choice besides spilling it through the sink, which I could do, of course, but I was like, let's take a couple of sips before the stream. I think it could be fun. And then later on, I'll drink in the evening with my boyfriend. But yeah, I thought it could be fun. But yeah, let's talk about the art, because that's why you're here. I just needed to say it in case I'm being a little silly. Okay. So here I have in this notebook, I think this is a useful tip just for anyone. If you're constantly searching for things to do in your program, whether it's Photoshop or Clip Studio, to have like a little notebook of shortcuts that you continue to use and you're still not the expert in. Like the symmetry tool, I almost never use it. And I should. Symmetry overlay. And for some reason, and maybe this is normal, it makes me do 2 lines every time. So, yeah, also. In order to start working, it needs to be 2 lines. There you are. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, so when I failed, let's tell that story briefly. I feel like I have always cared a lot about proving to, especially my family, everyone, but especially my family, that I can earn money from just drawing. And when I participated, my God, in the webtoon contest last year, I was taking it as a sign of, hey, did I succeed or did I fail? Depending on the amount of readers. And it didn't go well. And I think one of the reasons, I think this is relevant in case you want to have readership while reading, is that the first year I participated in the webtoon contest and I published my comic in Webtoon, I gained a lot of followers very quickly. And I think there were many reasons for that. One of them was the fact that even though I was making the comic alone, Lily Dusk, the creator she's now a featured Webtoon creator actually. She made Asura's Bride for the Webtoon contest, Asura's Bride, and then she's making now Midnight Poppyland in Webtoon. She gave me a shout out on top of other creators, and then those creators and me, we feel like, oh, that's so cool, this creator gave us a shout out, I'm gonna give the same in return because she draws a very beautiful comic. I'm very honored that she did this without expecting anything in return, so I feel inclined to do it. So I think that shout out and the fact that I gave it in return to her and to other creators helped a lot to make people see me and see each other's comics. So next time that I ever publish something that I needed lots of readership, I think it could be very cool to do it with other creators, because at the end of the day, that's the first moment where we make others see our comics. But yeah. So when I participated in the 2025 contest, though, I was doing it alone, same way as the first time. But unfortunately, I didn't get lots of readers, and I should have been happy because I did get readers. I think there was a matter there about expectations. I was expecting the same amount of success I felt, whether it was real or not, I felt in the 2018 webtoon contest, where I published my comic, and right away I have like 500 people reading. And this year I had like 10 people reading, and there were a lot of people that knew me from real life, which felt like a failure, honestly. From that moment on, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work out. I was still trying my best, but I think that was just a planning thing. But useful to know. And in a way, I had built in my head that I would prove to everyone that I could make this for a living. And if not, I would then, transition to a career that gives me a more stable income. So, it felt like utter failure, to be honest. I was having a hard time shifting my identity, even though I do have an identity of, hey, you adapt to losses and everything's fine. I do want to earn money. It felt like the end of the road, which was very paralyzing. To this day, I don't think I have a notice that addresses webtoon readers, which feels terrible. The guilt doesn't help, so to procrastinate telling everyone what's going on. And also, I had a very bad burnout. Not gonna go deep into that. The thing I'm gonna go deep into is tips to bounce from that. Besides following, if you have ever watched this movie, Kiki Delivery Service by Studio Ghibli, there's this little witch, she loses her ability to fly. Which is basically an allegory for burnout, but also passion. And the advice, honestly, is to continue living and just let it come. Not force it, rest, figure out if there's anything health-wise that you need to fix, like if you lack energy because you need vitamin D. I know it sounds silly, like, hey, do I just need to eat certain foods? But think about it. There was this illness, I forget the name, in ships when people used to go on ships to travel around the sea. These people, because they didn't have vitamin C, they would die, literally. It's so silly. Just have some orange juice and you'll be fine. It sounds so silly, but I mean, there were people dying and losing teeth because they didn't have vitamin C. But yeah. So let it pass, but also, and these are the comforting thoughts. Have you ever seen that meme where the brain, it's actually an illustrator that made this meme comic, I think, gag comic. There's some creator dreaming, whether it's an artist, a writer, it doesn't matter. And the brain is like, don't worry, J.R.R. Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings until he was like, I have no idea, honestly, but super old. 50-something, 60-something. So people that are in their 20s and stuff getting stressed about this. I'm in my 30s, by the way. Don't care. So, you have time. You don't have to give up all of it. Even if you get a full-time job, which I feel like in the artist community, getting a full-time job as an artist is the main measure of success. It's understandable why. You have lots of time to create art. And even if it's not necessarily all the time art that you love, it's still you practicing your skills to make art. So it doesn't feel like it will take you away from your journey as much as maybe a full-time job, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually very cool to get a stable paycheck, but yeah, the amount of attention it can take away from you, worth talking, but still getting a stable income and then feeling very free to do your hobbies, also worth talking about. So I was deciding actually. So let's talk about two deceptions, two ways you can see failure that I'm seeing. Because the journey continues. You're not really giving up. You still have this dream. The reason it hurts is because it didn't go the way you wanted. But there's many other ways you can still try to accomplish. There's something to talk about, like, will these things work? I think at the end of the day, the main goal is to have a life with meaning. So, even if it doesn't happen the way you wanted, I think it's fun to make these plans. But truly, I'm trying to accomplish something. So I'm not saying don't strive for anything. So rambling. This is what happens when I don't have a script, and I will have to say it every time. Sorry. But so one of the ways is I do have a very strong fear of dying. Not because of dying itself, but because I want to finish certain things before that happens. And I love life. But I don't have fear about aging. I actually think it's a privilege. I have lots of close people that have died at a very young age. And I don't want to end up like them, but at the end of the day, there are some things you can control, there are some things you can't. But you do what you can. Regarding the not fear of aging, I was actually saying this, and I told to some of my friends, but they were scared to even think about it. But I'm just gonna say the idea, whatever. Is that I accept now that I cannot do everything at once. And I cannot do everything super fast if I want to be efficient. Because if I want to do all of the things, like 10 things at the same time, I'm not gonna be as efficient at any of them. And if I focus on one, I'm gonna be way more efficient, right? So I was thinking of my comics and the fact that each page honestly takes me a long time because I'm very excited about being a little bit too of a perfectionist, maybe. But whatever. what I do is right now I'm 30, right? So I say things like, okay, let's look at the whole decade from me now that I'm 30 to me being 40. Hopefully I don't die before then. But yeah, 30 to 40. So it's like at 31 years old, I'll have finished this comic. Maybe 32. At 33, I'll start the other comic. At 34, I will do this part of this comic. You know, I have so many years to look forward to. And I think it's fun. It's fun to not pressure yourself terribly. Like, I have to have everything done in this year because, in my case, let's use the 31. Many people are super afraid of this number, even though it's not that old compared to others. And it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's just ideas of society. As long as you have some semblance of being able to draw, who cares? Lost the train of thought. Whatever. The point is that it's fun to divide your dreams and to make sure that you're gonna accomplish them no matter how much time it passes through. So that's one of the things. I think it's fun to be like, hey, no matter what happens, I'm gonna finish this comic. I'm gonna finish what I started. I'm not gonna leave it unfinished anymore. I have lots of things unfinished. And there's many artists and writers that have that too. And if you focus on one until you finish, which not saying that's the right moment for everyone, but for me it is, it's gonna get done. I'm gonna leave something of mine in this world. And that I'm looking forward to it. Sometimes I compare myself to other artists and it's like, it's not as cool as this other artist, but that's just so silly. Each of us is doing our best. And at least it's creating and building something. So that's one. The other one is the path that I may still take. I'm not taking it right now, but I was planning to go full-time in a corporate job, which is perfectly fine again. The only thing that scares me about that plan is the time suck, energy suck. But I think earning a stable income is very cool. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not following that path right now, but I'm gonna tell you my plan if I end up doing it. Because I think I have a cool story in my hands, especially with the comic after this one. And I do think it could be a big thing. And I need time to develop it. So my plan, if I took a full-time job, was to work that full-time job for a long time, save a lot, while still continuing this dream, even if very slowly, because again, a 40-hour work week or a 60-hour work week, which happens a lot, including commutes and stuff, you may be advancing this dream very slowly, but still happening. You know, like right now, and let's talk about that, the momentum of your publishing comic pages, your publishing Instagram posts, TikTok videos, and YouTube videos, that's a lot of cool momentum. But not always do people have time to do that, especially with a full-time job. And right now, for example, it's not my priority, so my momentum is very slow right now. Do not say there's no momentum right now. But I'm still going, right? And I think it's fun to think about it like, right now I'm doing this comic and I plan that when I go public with it, I have so many pages that I'm just posting and marketing. But right now, I'm just creating the product. And I think it's fun to think of your dream or goal. You break it down into a strategic goal. If you don't know, a strategic goal is a goal that takes from 3 to 5 years. And if you don't think that everything depends on you for this year, like you're not having this immense pressure, especially when you have bills to pay or something that's more urgent, and at the same time, you're not giving up on your dream. You're just reframing how you're gonna accomplish it. I think that's a very cool thing. I think I'm all over the place, but I think I'm making my point. Hello, Agiso. If you have the option to switch to part-time, it might be viable. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, I'm not doing full-time job right now, but I'm gonna do part-time job. I already have a part-time job as a Spanish tutor, but I'm gonna open also video editing. I already did it a little, but I didn't go super serious with it last time, or I didn't have the patience to wait for it. But I reserved the oh my god, English is going away from my brain. I reserved the choice to change my mind. For now, I'm gonna try the video editing thing as a freelancer still again. I have already done some reels for clients, but it was never a enough income, because I didn't go full in. This time I think I'm gonna start to slowly get more into it. The reason I still want to be a freelancer for now is to have more time or flexibility to still pursue the comics. Because I can, at this moment, afford to do that. I know not everyone can. But I think it's cool to think, okay, sorry. So this was my point. I'm just gonna say it before drawing, because if I had the full-time job, the project manager job that I was planning on taking, I would work, I would save, and then I would take maybe a sabbatical to make this explode, make my story explode, do the full thing. I would maybe hopefully have money to pay a video editor. I would do comic pages all morning, and then afternoon maybe I would market, but the most important thing would still be the product that people would consume. And I think with enough consistency, that sabbatical year could be very effective. That's what I would do if I had a full-time job. This is a year's plan though. It would take me a long time to save enough, and I would have to be very, very intentional about not spending money in silly things, or too many silly things. I would still like to enjoy life, but that would be my plan if I had a full-time job, which is plan B after trying this freelancer thing. I'm already a Spanish tutor. I'm gonna open another gig about video editing. And maybe offer cheap prices at the beginning. I don't care. I know it's very controversial to offer your services for free, and I'm not gonna offer them for free, but I'm gonna offer them cheaply just to start out, because I do know that I'm good, but there's a lot of competition. So let's start benefiting people. I also would like to become even a better video editor. I already have a couple courses that I haven't finished at all, and I think it could be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about this plan. And being a freelancer, it may make me work a lot of hours as well, but the flexibility of it sounds amazing. Also, I'm more excited about this idea. And even if the comic right now, it's not the full-time thing, I'm still working on it, which I think helps a lot with burnout and failure feeling. It's not you have failed, you have another plan now. Maybe your plan will take longer, but you're not giving up. Because I feel like it sounds nice to be like, hey, you're not gonna do your comic right now. You're just gonna go in a perpetual sort of vacation. Like you're gonna work, and then on your free time, you're not doing a comic. You're just resting. And that's not bad. It's fun. You get to see your friends. You're seeing your family. You're spending time with yourself. You're watching fun stories or reading fun stories that someone else created. That's cool. But if you're a creator, if you're an artist, there's like a fire inside of you. And just watching someone else create is not gonna be enough to get up in the morning, I feel. Or at least that was my experience. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do the role everyone expects of me, maybe. But I was not that excited about it. So it was harder to do everything. So this failure video is about making alternative plans after the failure in the original plan. It's not you're giving up. It's you're doing another iteration based on the mistakes you did or what things maybe were missing to keep that fire inside of you. That makes you get up in the morning, that makes you want to do more. And at the same time, you honor your body, you honor the need for food, you honor the need to have a job that pays the bills. And still, you're not giving up. You're not working maybe as many hours on the comic, but it's still there. And it does fuel everything else. Right now, my priority is not my comic, and it is the cool creative jobs I get to do, because honestly, being a Spanish tutor is also fun sometimes to pay the bills. But if I was thinking of myself, like my self-identity, oh, I'm giving up. That makes me just sad and makes me not want to even give my best at other things, like my Spanish tutoring gig that has nothing to do with art almost. I'm motivated to do it more and give a good service because I have this hobby on the side. Because I know that I'm still me, whatever happens. In the present, even if it's not the present continuous, it's the present. Yeah, going back to grammar, let's go. This was a very teacher thing. The present doesn't happen exactly right now, present continuous does. So yeah, I tell that to my students all the time. Trying to make them differentiate. Well, whatever. So, okay, there's 8 people. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. If you have any doubts, let me know. I think something fun is when you can tell, like the other day I was hanging out with my best friend and I was telling him about some plans and some things that were happening. And we're both very familiar with failure. So it was just an acknowledgement, God, that we both know how it feels like to try something. And maybe not having the right strategy or whatever, but we failed but we learned a lot. And it's fun to think of the next plan after crying and licking the wounds, which I think it's still important to do. And I'm in a very good moment right now. I used to not. Whenever I talk in public about this, I'm way better because you don't want people to pity you. It's just like, I learned something. But it was painful, honestly. It was like, oh, okay. But it was also the expectations versus reality thing. Where you can still be happy about some things going right. One of the things I'm very proud of is I finished the webtoon contest. The first time I didn't finish. I ran out of time and I uploaded pages that were in black and white because I didn't finish, and the story was a little confusing at the end because of that, because I was running out of time. And now I know my process. Now I know how long I take to do things, more or less. So, yeah. If you have more questions or you want to share an experience, I think that could be cool. But for now, I'm gonna continue drawing today. Yay. I hope you have a very nice weekend. And I'll let you know how the video editing thing works. And if you want short videos for your profile, you can message me and I can give you a discount. I have no idea. I haven't fully prepared the gig again yet. I do have a gig in Fiverr, but it was paused, and now I'm gonna unpause it and get back to some old clients. It's also okay. I'm gonna explain. I was gonna go into the full-time thing. I was studying to get a certificate, do an exam, and get a job. And I already tried to apply to jobs, but I didn't have the full experience they wanted, so I wasn't successful in that. But now, in like 4 months, am I gonna reveal this to the internet? I'm gonna think. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna maybe move far away. And maybe my time zone is gonna change. So it feels weird to apply to jobs in presential jobs or jobs that depend on a time zone. And be like, hey, I'm gonna leave in like 4 months. That is not gonna look good in my resume. So that's also why I'm gonna do the freelance thing, because I can still work, I can get money right now. I already have experience, I already have some clients that hopefully they come back. But, I don't have to be in a time zone. As long as I deliver the project in time, everything's gonna be fine. So, because I do think it's very important and cool to dream of being a full-time artist. It's very, very cool. But also it's cool to be comfortable. It's cool, not small, just comfortable. That's not the same thing. And to have a very good salary that helps you pay the bills. I'm very proud of my Spanish tutoring, honestly. It has helped me thus far. I don't need more now, but I feel like my identity at this moment, thank goodness, it's not that dependent on being an artist is part of me. But if I don't work as an artist full time right now, I'm perfectly okay with it. And that was a process. But I'm I feel like most people, and even artists, creative people, they like so many things besides art. Like, I know many artists that are also passionate about the sky, the universe, or biology. I know many that like math. That's what happens when I studied engineering. I knew artists that also like math. And I also like math, honestly. Every time people say, like, I'm an artist, I don't like math, it's like, yeah, well, there's a reason the stereotype exists, but there's so many different types of people, and it's fascinating. I feel like someone said that being a writer is actually not hating people, unlike the stereotype says, is being fascinated by people. And I agree with that sentiment. I think even if that doesn't mean you want to hang out all the time necessarily, it's just fun to see the differences. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. If you have questions, please leave them down below. Sorry for my English today, but take care and thank you for being here. And good luck with your project, Taki. So feel free to share more, and I'll share it in the stream next time because I'm very thankful to you being here. Well, take care. Bye.